Welcome to the Amy McManus Show. If you're a first-time listener, I can explain a little bit about what I do. I am an independent conservative with strong libertarian leanings. I am a pro-life Christian, and basically, if it's newsworthy that I am interested in, that I think you might find interesting, I try to give some of the local, state, and national news, and maybe give you an interesting take on some of the latest news items. So welcome if you're a first-time listener. And New York State news, Charlie Rangel, as we all know, in all of his various troubles. I'm learning more about his opponent, the guy who's running against him in the fall. We've got this guy named Reverend Michael Faulkner, who has kind of been behind the scenes at various positions, such as City Hall. He was an assembly person. Different roles he's had, trying to make sure that Charlie Rangel abides by the rules. He basically is making his positions more vocal regarding how he feels about Charlie Rangel. He used to be a prison minister, and he would go to Rikers, and he talks about how Charlie Rangel consistently claims he is innocent, he's innocent, he's innocent. And Reverend Faulkner says, I go to Rikers as a minister and a chaplain, and the first thing everybody says to him, of course, is, I'm innocent, I'm innocent. And he said that that's usually what a guilty person always says. The whole issue with Charlie Rangel, of course, is the rent-stabilized apartments that he was abusing the rent stabilization laws by acquiring four apartments over the years and remodeling them into this luxurious condo, basically, and also a charge that he violated house ethics for soliciting money for a university center that has his name. So Charlie Rangel again is maintaining his innocence, but more about Michael Faulkner. He served on a task force on police community relations under Mayor Rudy Giuliani in '97, and he was later a supporter of Mayor Bloomberg. He's not so much now. He served as the senior pastor of the Central Baptist Church in Harlem for 13 years, founded his own church in 2006, and he says he was a football player, and he played at Virginia Tech and 1 year with the New York Jets. And he says this: we need a new generation of citizen legislators that will go forth and do the bidding of the people. That's why we're doing this. That's why we have to have Mr. Rangel step down, relinquish these apartments, make monetary amends, apologize to the people, and try to restore and salvage some of the legacy that he has had. So he did take a little interesting turn. People kept pressuring him, should Rangel resign? Should he, be censured, etc.? And he said all he wanted to say at that point was, hang in there, Mr. Rangel. I'm praying for you. I thought that was a very interesting thing for a candidate to say about his opponent. I'm praying for you. President Obama, in the meantime, has said Rangel should end his career with dignity, and too late for that, I believe. In more national news, U.S. employment fell again for a second straight month in July. All of those temporary census workers are done with their job. Private hiring rose less than expected. And again, I love these articles where they say an anemic economic recovery. They keep using that word economic recovery, and they call it slow. They call it sluggish. They call it anemic. I just find it really comical. Let's see. We've got private employment, which is supposed to be a better gauge of labor, rose 71,000 after increasing 31,000 in June. However, all other jobs dropped. Non-farm payrolls, government payrolls. Reuters had forecasted that overall employment would fall 65,000, and then various other economists had predicted that the slowdown would be put us at 9.6% unemployment, and it's 9.5, and it's actually now 9.6. So again, they're still calling it an economic recovery, even though unemployment numbers did go up by 1/10 of a percentage point. And job growth, of course, had a few gains in February and April, but I just love all these people who get excited about this quote unquote economic recovery. I don't really think there is one. And some other news nationally. In the meantime, while unemployment is skyrocketing and people are struggling to find work, many small businesses have gotten hurt as well. But this kind of a small business out in Oregon, especially found that the government was definitely interfering with business. Here's what happened in Multnomah County. They shut down what they called a business enterprise for operating without a license. So they cited some health reasons. Well, here was the business. A 7-year-old girl named Julie Murphy who had a lemonade stand. Last month, in an art fair in late July, she had a little lemonade stand. She was supposed to get a $120 temporary restaurant license. Yes, you have to get a permit in Oregon to run a lemonade stand, particularly if you're going to a bigger event, such as a state or a county or something that draws hundreds of people. So here's what happened. John Kawaguchi, who is the environmental health supervisor for Multnomah County Health Department, says, I understand the reason behind what they're doing. It's a neighborhood event and they're just trying to generate revenue, but we still need to put the public's health first. Well, Julie wanted to run a lemonade stand after she watched an episode of the cartoon show Olivia. And I think I just saw that one recently, actually. And in that episode, she ran a lemonade stand. They live in Oregon City, but they knew they wouldn't get a lot of customers if they set up in her own home. So they basically traveled across town a little bit and decided to go to this fair. And she did signs and coloring and lettering and a picture of Kool-Aid. And she put yummy on her little sound. And she put everything in a wheelbarrow and steered to the corner of Northeast 26 in Alberta. And settled into a space between a painter and a couple who sold handmade bags and kids' clothing at this fair. Before her daughter had finished making her first batch of lemonade, a man walked up to buy a 50-cent cup. But he was followed by another lady with a clipboard who came over and asked her for her license. So she'd sold one cup of 50-cent lemonade, and someone spotted her. Mom explained that they did not have any sort of license. So the woman said they would have to leave or get fined $500. So Mom just kind of started to pack up. Well, the people next door at these different booths saw what was going on and asked the mom and the daughter to stay. But they decided that they would leave, and they said, before we leave, let's try one more thing. They said, let's say that the lemonade is free, and we will take donations. So then business really picked up because the people understood what was going on over there and knew they were trying to, beat the system. However, 2 other inspectors came back, and by this time the little girl started to cry. And her mother finally decided to pack everything up, and it was a huge scene. It was, the girls crying, and the mother's trying to convince these 2 health inspectors to let it slide, and the health inspectors are scribbling away on their notes and, ordering them to leave. A whole bunch of people who witnessed this started this thing they called the Lemonade Revolt. And they want anybody in Oregon to put out their own lemonade stand without any sort of permit or temporary restaurant license to try to get the word out of how ridiculous this is and to, maybe just show little Julie some support. People have been promising her that she should just keep trying. And other venues are offering to have her sell lemonade and that they would pay for her temporary restaurant license fee. However, after about a week, a few people who have a brain at Multnomah County officials decided that perhaps the health inspectors stepped over the line. So Chairman Jeff Cogan, who is the director of the County Health Department workers, should use their professional discretion. He said that perhaps they should not be shutting down lemonade stands. They apologized, and they encouraged the girl to continue to have her lemonade stands, and that perhaps most of the workers would not bother her. So someone with a few brain cells left in the county of Multnomah in Oregon. Overseas, I came across